It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at some pretty awesome behind the scenes photos from a set that they're building in downtown Calgary, Canada. Now, we did look at these in some of the previous videos, but there's more pictures that we're going to go through and some more context into what this is all about. Now, this particular set location can be called a quarantine zone emergency camp because it's a set that's supposed to represent an emergency response camp pretty early on during the outbreak. Now, one other thing that we do need to keep in mind is that this is directly from the source material. So they are actually filming the Salt Lake City bus depot chapter from the game, and we know that because there's a lot of references to Utah. So we're going to take a look at all of those, and also we're going to take a look at another separate set location that they're building for preparation of other filming that they're going to do later this week and into next week, which may actually correspond to some early outbreak flashbacks that they might be adding on to the TV adaptation. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break it all down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that, let's just dive right into it. Like I mentioned every video, I live in Calgary, which is one of the key cities where they're filming for The Last of Us, and I've been able to visit set a few times in the past and capture some pretty awesome footage and behind the scenes photos. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely check it out. This time around, I was also able to go to the set location that they're building in downtown Calgary. Now, there's a separate one, like I mentioned, which is not in Calgary. It's actually in the town of Olds in Alberta, Canada. So obviously, the pictures we're going to take a look at when it comes to that end are pictures from online sources. I'll leave a link to all my sources down below so you can go and check it out. But other than that, the majority of the pictures that are from the set location in Calgary are pictures that I captured myself, with a few not captured by me, but the links will be in the description so you can go and check out the source. So with that, let's dive in. So obviously, this is what the set originally looked like. It was originally just a bunch of tents and some emergency response trailers for the state of Utah, which we can see in the background, but they were just prepping to build the set. The set changed to this recently, so that's pretty awesome. We can see there's a lot of vegetation there, there's a lot of grass and gravel and things like that, just to give it that apocalyptic feel, just to give it that realism. But we do see another angle from that area. It's a pretty big area that they're building, and I have heard that they're gonna expand that and potentially block off a couple blocks on either direction of this particular parking lot, which is where the main set is. And I'm assuming that they're gonna have a scene where a car is gonna drive through the road and into this camp, or have someone, most likely Joel and Ellie, walking from far away towards this camp and entering the camp at some point. I'm assuming that's what the scene is gonna be. Based on what I've heard, they're actually going to start filming as early as tomorrow, and it's gonna go until Sunday night into Monday, like a late night shoot or an early morning shoot, something like that. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be in Calgary this weekend, so I'm gonna have to rely on online sources to get the pictures afterwards and go over it. This is gonna be the set that they're gonna use. They might block off the roads and decorate the roads around the set, but this is going to be the main set that they're going to use. There was also some equipment that was there. They're going to use these for the cameras, like these are going to be camera rigs or something like that. But this is another angle of some of the tents that were there. Pretty awesome. Obviously, if you go back to the game and look through the footage or images from the Salt Lake City bus depot chapter of the game, there's one point where Joel and Ellie enter this type of camp. So it's a direct adaptation. It's straight from the video game. Another angle of it here looks pretty cool. We see some lights that are set up. Obviously, these are not lights for the filming, they're just props, but we can see another angle here. Looks pretty awesome, and obviously as the time goes, there's a lot more detail that goes into what's in the actual camp, and they put a lot of finishing touches as they go along before the actual shoot starts. But there was also these military vehicles. They actually had the symbol National Army Guard on it right there. So obviously these are not necessarily Fedra owned vehicles at this point. These were used before the Fedra took over, and they were used by the army themselves. So we have a truck and a Jeep with the same National Army Guard symbol on it. Looks pretty awesome. And another one here. And if I zoom in, you can clearly see the Army National Guard. We have another shot of the Jeep that was there, and then another shot right here of a Humvee that was around. This looks pretty awesome. I mean, it just looks super cool to be there in person and see this. It just gives you a good perspective, the scale, and how much detail goes into it. I mean, some of the stuff that's there may not even make it on the shot, but it's there and they've paid attention to it, and it's just super awesome. This is another angle of what it looked like before, so you can obviously see the difference. I mean, there's almost nothing on the ground, but it looks quite different now. We can see another higher up angle of that camp right here, and then another pretty clear angle right here. Now they did also put up a bunch of vines and vegetation on top of buildings surrounding this area, so I'm assuming that those are also going to be incorporated in the shot, and it's just a way to give it a more apocalyptic feel. But we have another pretty cool shot of this particular equipment that's there. I'm assuming this is used by the military, and it might be some sort of a storage tank that gets attached to a vehicle, or it might be a generator. I don't know exactly what it is, but we have seen something similar in the same chapter of the game, in the camp that was in the game. So again, pretty accurate as far as the source material. And then we have these signs that are on the fences. One says waiting area. This might be the section where survivors go to first to be accepted into the camp. That's what it was probably used for. One says relief delivery operation. So they may have been using this place to give out supplies and food and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting out of it. Obviously, there's a translation also in Portuguese or Spanish on the bottom. So this camp was targeted to both Spanish, Portuguese speaking survivors and English speaking survivors. We have another one that says Medical Evaluation Center. So obviously this one was probably used to get an evaluation of the survivors to see if they need medical attention, and also if they have any signs of being bit or being exposed to the virus and stuff like that. And then we have a pretty cool shot of this right here. Obviously we see some medical stretchers and some wheelchairs, so it definitely matches the atmosphere and what this camp really is, because it's an emergency response camp. So it makes sense for them to have wheelchairs and stretchers and things like that. And then another shot we have here of some cars that were parked on the side. The cars definitely match a lot of the cars that we've seen in the past used in city setting areas, with cars having rust on them and being wrecked and everything. We see another shot here of a bunch of cars parked. I actually captured this when I was driving by. I will show you another clear picture that I captured later that night right here, so we can see one shot of one of the cars that was there, and then the inside of it we can see looks pretty awesome. I mean, this is attention to detail, because the inside was just as wrecked as the outside, so that's pretty awesome. And I mean, like I said, this may not even be captured in the actual shot, but they paid attention to it, so that's pretty awesome. This is a shot of the army truck that was there, and then this one is a little blurry because the lighting wasn't the best, obviously because it was during the night. And then we have another shot of the camp at night. This is just to give you a good idea of the atmosphere during the nighttime, in case they have night shoots, and there's shots that are going to be during the night. But we have another one right here that I captured. Looks pretty awesome. And then another angle. I tried my best to not show the fences and to kind of show over the fence, but obviously I couldn't go anywhere above ground high enough to capture a better picture of this area. And most of the stuff that we looked at from an angle were captured by people living in the building that's right next door. That's why they are so clear. But we have another shot right here. Now, before we move on to talking about the second set location in the town of Olds, Alberta, Canada, I do want to show you a quick clip. It just shows all of those cars that were parked on the side. And obviously, we can see, I don't know if you can see, but this is actually a Utah patrol car. So obviously, like I said, this is supposed to be in Utah. Like, this set location is supposed to be in Utah in the story. So we have a bunch of these cars parked. They have rust on them, and most of them have windshields broken and wrecks on the cars and stuff like that to make it look more apocalyptic and more realistic. So with that, let's move on to the second topic, which is the set that they're building in the town of Olds. We can see actually a car that's flipped and a police car there, so it looks pretty awesome. This looks like it could be potentially earlier on during the outbreak, but I could be wrong. So I think what we might see, especially since this has a more smaller town feel to it, is a situation where they might be doing flashbacks of something that went on earlier in the outbreak or something to that effect. But we have another angle of the street that they had blocked off for filming in the town of Olds, and then another angle right here. Now, this was a picture that I couldn't find a better picture of or a better quality picture of, but we can see that this is the entrance to Pioneer Way. Not exactly sure what this is going to be in terms of the location, but it looks like most of their filming is going to be inside of this particular park or area where this is at. And then we have another angle of that area. We can see there's an actual painting of a pig on the wall, which is definitely interesting. I don't know if that was there originally or they just painted that for the show, but this looks pretty awesome regardless. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go through in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.